Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers. Want to welcome everybody, all the hustlers from all over the world. We are global now, so there's people listening in all corners of the globe, so that's kind of fun. Want to encourage everyone to keep writing, keep developing. There's lots of great things happening in the industry right now. Lots of companies getting ready to spend money, put a lot of product out. So I don't know. I think we want to be very optimistic about where it's all going. People are going to need entertainment forever and ever. It's just changing. Whether it's a mobisode or a micro movie or a micro series or an actual movie or a TV movie or whatever it is, lots of people making movies. I heard even Tubi's making movies. I heard Roku's making movies. So I think there's a lot of places to get your product sold, whether you're making it independently or you're presenting it to a company for them to finance. I think there's a lot to do out there. So I want to also thank Extreme Music for being our partner and our sponsor. They are the best in the business. I continue to use them on every movie I produce, and I know a lot of people in the industry do too. Extreme Music is the best in the business, and if you're not using them and you haven't heard of them, you should go check them out. All right, well, enjoy the show, and let's get back to one, people. The name of this show is, or the intent of this show is Back to One. Yeah. And a lot of people that listen, I have heard, are inspired by what we talk about. They hear a lot of things that helps them move forward. In fact, the editor that we work with, Rich Alarcon, always now negotiates against me with the stuff I say on this show. I ended up giving him a big part of my back end on the movie because he heard the show and negotiated the way I told him on the show.
There you go. See, changing lives.
Good for him.
Changing lives.
So
he's a talented guy. He deserves every bit of it.
He really does. But he, I think when all you have is the potential of gaining on a movie or a project in the future, give away as much as you can because it doesn't really matter, right? If it's a success, then you share in the success.
Right.
What's going to happen? You get 100%, everyone else gets nothing, and they all helped you for free? That's funny. But no, I definitely want to go back to one on this show because I'm sure that a lot of people during the pandemic decided, hey, so that script I was going to write or that money I was going to raise or that thing I was going to shoot or whatever sort of probably fell to the wayside or at least got interrupted, right? Yeah. Let's talk about this. Like your movie, which it was obviously we documented it. If you go back and listen to the show, you can hear how Tuddy went from zero to a release. But since we did the show, you actually have gotten your movie on every platform.
Yeah, except for Netflix, but that's a different thing. But yeah, it's on Amazon, it's on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Xbox, Vudu, and then it's gonna go. I think in like a couple months, it's gonna go to like Tubi and like these other platforms too.
Yeah, so that's Made in Mexico, starring Lilo Brancato, starring yourself. And did you finish your run at the Hotel Network?
We finished the run at the hotel. The hotel was a cool thing. It got us a lot of press. From a marketing standpoint, I kind of went about it the wrong way. Well, I did have marketing dollars, which we talked about on this show. And in the beginning of this journey, I didn't really think I needed them because I was going to rely on, people to post and all this stuff, and it didn't happen. And so you really need money to get your project out there. That's important. Marketing is almost, I don't want to say everything, but without it, then you just have a movie that your friends are going to watch and say, hey, great job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to figure out a way to get it out there for the masses to see. And the Hotel Channel did that for me. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, the split was really big with them.
Right.
And to have it up there, we were at one point I was in between a Disney movie and a Marvel movie that was in theaters. So it was an honor just to be on there and get it there. Right. And that's a place that just by chance I was able to they're not open for everybody. I wish I would have waited because I was too eager to get my film out because of everything everything just went to a standstill. But if I would have waited to put it out on platforms at the same time it was in the hotels, I think I would have done a lot better because of the marketing and advertising in the hotel. Not everybody's going to pay $20 for it, but they will go on their phone if they have Amazon and purchase it.
Well, when you make a small indie, you probably did. You're probably in the 1% club. I don't think a lot of films do, get into hotels and get seen by millions of people and then go on platforms. So I think it's exciting what you did, and I'm glad we were able to sort of document the whole thing. So congratulations.
Thanks. I did make my money the first month.
That's amazing.
I did make the money back. Now the split was painful. Yeah. You know what I mean? But hey, it's a part of doing business.
But you made all your money back, which is a hard thing to do in this business. So, I mean, look, if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, why do it? I think the reality is as you raise your money, do your movie, figure out what to do, I don't know, somehow the universe puts people in front of you that are going to help you get it to, maybe it's not the hotel channel, maybe it's not every platform, but maybe it's, maybe it's something else. Things are changing all the time. People are finding ways to buy movies and rent movies and see anything they want to see. So
try to hook up with, like, if you're an indie filmmaker and you're doing a little movie, you don't have any connections in terms of marketing and advertising, look for people, friends of yours that maybe have a big following on social media. And you can, even if you drop them a couple $100 or whatever,
that's a good start.
Just try to get the word out, so it's not just your mom and your brother and uncles and your homies watching your movie, so you can get more people to view it. And if you could set aside some marketing dollars in the beginning. So, and you told me that. You told me in the beginning, like, how much you set aside for marketing. I said none. I'm going to give out T-shirts and have all my celebrity friends post. Didn't happen. Right. I mean, I gave out T-shirts and it was just like,
Yeah, but it's hard because a lot of people aren't associated with the struggle that you have making a flick. So you make your movie and all of a sudden you're done and you're asking people for favors and they didn't struggle like you did. So sometimes they don't do it and it doesn't happen. But if we go back to one real quick, on the show, we talked about how you got top talent for your movie.
Right.
With a great script, not a whole lot of money, right? But it didn't matter. Like you asked Lilo Brancato, he said yes. He was on The Sopranos, he was on Bronx Tale. I mean, he was a super big actor compared to the level of your movie. So you are able to do that. You just have to get out there and keep asking for the money, for help, for you know.
What I'm coming across right now, Robert, so maybe you can help me with this. So investors, they want to see the numbers, and they want to see how well the film did, in terms of financial gain. But I still haven't seen, because it's new on the platforms, like it's a quarterly thing, a 3 month. Every 3 months they're going to give me like a reading, or what the movie's
a statement,
made. Statement, yeah. So I still haven't got there yet. I do have the hotel channel though, which is good. You know what I mean? If you just see like dollars for dollars what it made, not necessarily the cut that was involved.
Views on that's probably
so. But it is you do, like, I can't really go out and hustle for money yet because I don't have all that information.
Yeah, but you raised. So, see, that's the thing, is that you raised.
Or do I need to have that information?
No,
I guess that's what I'm asking.
I think you don't. I think you need to know. I think you need to know going in how much money the film made compared to what you spent on it.
Right.
I don't think it matters where that money came from. So like the hotel channel made whatever it made.
Yeah.
Your platforms are going to make whatever they make.
Yeah.
And your foreign's going to make whatever it makes. You got to anticipate whatever that amount's going to be and make that your chunk.
Yeah.
And say, this is how much the movie will make or has made. That's not why people should invest in you, though. People should invest in you because they believe in you.
Yeah.
If you watch Made in Mexico, you should invest in the filmmaker because of what you think the potential is, not because of what a film made, right? Because if we all did it that way, not all filmmakers, even the biggest filmmakers in the world, fail.
Yeah.
They still go on to make another movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember that you're not pitching the success of Made in Mexico because you're not making Made in Mexico again. You're pitching yourself as a filmmaker and as what you were able to achieve. So someone should be able to turn around and say, Tuddy worked hard. He got a key actor that had a name value. He was able to finish. He was able to deliver so well that the composer and the music in the film was good, that the QC past all QC elements to be able to be on platforms and to be able to be in hotels, because that's not easy.
That's huge. Yeah,
that's huge. That's that's what producers do. You have to figure out, not every, like, for instance, if you're sitting at home and you're like listening to this, you're probably thinking like, oh, I'll just make a movie on my phone and I'll sell it. Well, you can't officially do that because you have to pass QC. If you go to Netflix, if you go to Amazon, if you go to Hotel Channel, whatever, there's a QC, right? Because they broadcast films that look great. So your film has to look great. It has to pass QC. So you did that.
Yeah.
So that's something that is valuable. Yeah. So what you're selling is Tuddy the filmmaker that finished a project, that sold the project, that made the money back on the project, and that made it possible for it to go on all these platforms.
Damn, I'll invest in me after that.
Hey, you did it, man.
You did do it. Like, when you think about Steven Spielberg today, of course you're like, oh, Academy Award winner, biggest films of all time and all that. And I sometimes think to myself, like, when he was 16, 17, was he still Steven Spielberg? Like, if you had invested in him when he was 16, 17, is he the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're the guy right now. So when you speak to investors or you speak to whoever's going to do your next movie or even a network executive, you are not trying to be a filmmaker. You are a filmmaker. It's kind of like Steven Spielberg saying, I am Steven Spielberg when he was 16, 17. He is. And he still is, right? Yeah. So there's no change in time there. Like, he has always been great, right? It's all in his head. So all you did was prove that you can do it, and I think everyone else can do the same. I was talking to Davie Dave earlier before we started. When I started in the business, I came to Universal to audition to be a tour guide. And
you had to audition?
Oh, yeah. Oh. There was 100 people. There was 100 people. I'll never forget it. It was 100 people. I was just sitting waiting my turn, and they called my name, and I walked up to the front of the room, and they were like, hey, who's your favorite actor? And I was like, John Travolta. and I did this whole piece about why John Travolta was my favorite actor, and I impersonated him. And they picked me. Out of 100 people, they picked like 6 of us.
Yeah.
The thing about picking Universal as a starting ground for me, when you're on a tram and you see a red light, you have to start talking, right? You have to start pitching.
Yeah.
Right? You got a tram full of 100 people.
Yeah.
And you can't move the tram, so you have to keep them entertained. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, if you look off to the left, if you look off to the right, hey, Charlie Chaplin did his movie there, and Clint Eastwood did 4 movies over here. Yeah. You told me about The Offer. I watched all of The Offer.
Yeah.
And, Robert Evans wasn't a guy that came from running studios to run Paramount.
Yeah.
He just was an innovator, right? So the reason I brought up Universal Studios and being a tour guide is you're always pitching on the tram. It created my ability to pitch. Now, since we're all going back to one, right? Let's talk about the pitch, right? The only way you're going to raise money is by pitching, right?
Yeah.
That goes for if you're doing shoes, if you're doing clothes, if you're doing anything you're doing, you got to pitch. People have to hear you, people have to agree with you, and then they have to give you money or they have to do whatever, right? So your pitch is really important. I practice on you guys all the time, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
I'm always pitching my stuff. Like, I'll always start a conversation with my wife, and I'll be like, hey, so have you heard? And then I'll be pitching my idea in a general conversation with her, and she'll turn to me and go like, wait, are you pitching me? And I'll be like, yeah. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, what do you think? Yeah, but it sounded like a normal conversation, so it sounded great. So work on your pitch all the time with your wife, with your son, with your friends, and just make it a general conversation so that when you actually do get to pitching, you're really good at what you're saying about your project, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to tell your story to the point where someone says, wow, I really like that, and I want to be involved with you on this, and let's go do it. And whether that's money or an actor, if you pitch and someone doesn't understand what you're saying or doesn't understand the pitch, do you get mad?
No, I just forfeit. Like,
really?
I could tell by like the face and the nod of the head. Like, if they're into it, then I keep going. But if I lose them, then I just kind of go, yeah. So
I'll tell you something.
It's hot outside today. Oh, they're like,
I'll tell you something. If you have a project, doesn't matter what it is. I'm like telling you, if it's food, if it's jeans, if it's shoes, if it's whatever you're selling, it's almost like you should take mental note of what's working. It's kind of like being a comedian, right? Like a comedian tells a joke, and if it doesn't work, they have to practice it in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Right? And if they fail, a lot of them don't take it personal, right?
Yeah.
They just sort of go forward and figure out how that joke's going to work because they believe in that joke. They know it's funny because they heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think when you pitch, you have to like take mental notes or even take notes. Just be like, okay, so what did you think of that? Or you can see someone being uninterested or interested. It's funny. I'm going to tell you guys a story because I pitched someone an idea, big.
Was this at the Polo Lounge?
No, but I'll tell you about the Polo Lounge next.
Still haven't taken me
last
there.
week. I pitched an agent of this big recording star. I don't know her.
William Hung.
No, I don't know the star, but I pitched the agent.
Yeah.
And I could tell in the Zoom that the agent had gotten on to pass.
Yeah.
Right? They had gotten on the Zoom and on the meeting to pass on me.
Like courtesy. I'll get on.
Like a courtesy. I'm going to get on because you were recommended by a friend.
Yeah. But I'm not into
But
this.
we're not into this, right?
Yeah.
So
Very courteous.
Yeah. So he cut me off at some point and he said, hey, so we're doing this biopic and this, we don't want to infringe on the rights. So that was where it was going and I could see it. I continued to pitch. And as I continued to pitch, the person changed their mind and said, okay, you know what? This could work.
Yeah.
The way you're saying it, this could work. Send me an email with the idea and let me go figure this out, get the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I sent the email with the idea, and they further wrote back and said, I think this could really work. So that was my focus on that pitch. So if you're pitching something, don't get discouraged by someone being like visibly not interested in
when
what
they
you're
tune out,
saying.
you can see them tune out.
Yeah, you see people tune out. You're pitching someone and you see them like look to the right or look to the left. All of a sudden they're not interested.
Yeah.
But you capture someone by not giving up and by not changing your demeanor about how whatever they're doing or seeing, right? So you continue your pitch, whatever it is. Now, if it doesn't work at all, then it doesn't work. Then that's not worth continuing, right?
Yeah.
You'll know that in the end.
And I think the more you pitch, the better you get, obviously. Because like when I pitched Made in Mexico, I had it down like so fast and so concise, and I could tell most people were interested, like really interested, and that was in the beginning. Like it wasn't even after me pitching and pitching and pitching. It was early on.
Well, you knew what was good about your story.
Yeah, and
I knew what was capturing people.
I knew what would hook people.
Obviously, people gave you money. Like at some point, you got to know your pitch is so good that it gives you money. I mean, at some point in the future, we should get on a conversation about don't shortchange yourself. Go for more money than you think you need and have someone else lower the amount.
Yeah,
can
always,
you do? Yeah,
always,
what I mean?
always.
Give me $100,000. Oh, 100.
Yeah.
Jesus, I was thinking like 10. Okay, give me the 10. There it is.
All right, I'll take it.
I just raised $10,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's the key is that you have to work on your pitch. Like I was talking to someone the other day that was like, "Oh, I have a story for you. I got to pitch you this story. I got this great story." Right? I said, "Okay, pitch me your story." He's like, "Wait, right now? Right here? I'm not ready. Like I need to like prepare." That's the other thing is that you got to have your pitch down, whatever that's going to be, and you have to know how it affects people. So if you have an idea that you want to raise money for, or pitch a studio, or pitch an executive, whoever you want to pitch, an actor, just have your elevator pitch, which is about 30 seconds to a minute, that will interest that person to the point where you have them. Yeah. And if you lose them in the middle of the pitch, just keep going if you know that there's some compelling shit coming in your conversation. Yeah. That's back to one.
Yeah. I'd say keep it under 5 lines too. Like if you're a writer and you're going to write your pitch, keep it under 5 sentences.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Watching The Offer, which by the way you recommended I watch.
I haven't even finished it.
It was amazing to watch. Like that guy Al Ruddy.
Incredible.
Was not a filmmaker.
No, he worked at a defense
software company or something like that. Yeah. So he was a software guy. Ended up creating Hogan's Heroes. He had a good instinct.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the offer, without giving away, he's pitching and people are listening. Like he was at the Chateau Marmont, and it's pretty accurate, I think. I mean, I've heard people say it's not as accurate, but in the offer, he was pitching, and obviously he knew how to pitch, or he wouldn't have sold Hogan's Heroes.
Look, my personal interest is always in a quick pitch, something that I can tell you real fast, something that I can excite you in. If I have to tell you about the grandma's uncle's sister who moved from here to there and created like this thing and then this business, that's not that's not an exciting pitch to me. That's not what I do as a producer, right? But I think if you're doing independent work, you either do what you did, which is understand your story so well that you can pitch it and people can get it and get excited about it, or go high concept. Easy Jurassic Park sort of pitch, and then build it out from there. Build it out from your super, super high concept story. But I guess the back to one part of this show is get your pitch down. Don't give up on the dream of making your movie or your TV show. Continue to pitch people and go and do it.
Pretty good. How about talent? Should you try to attach talent before? What do you think?
If you have them accessible, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you like you didn't. You went the other way. You raised the money first. You got your executive producers first. You wrote your script. You got your money, and then you went after Lilo.
Yeah.
Right? That's one way to do it. If for some reason Lilo had been...
I wrote the script first. Then I got the money based on the script. Then I got some of the money, not all of it. Then I got Lilo. Then I got more of the money. Yeah. And then other things fell into play.
Yeah, I mean, look, the other thing that we have to discuss is you have to take chances. Like, it's a very, very complicated business. You have to take chances. You have to decide how you're going to do it. Okay, you have to do the script first. You have to start raising some of the money. Well, by the way, we've talked about this. What happens when you raise some of the money? You throw your hat over the fence. Yeah. You're going to start this film no matter what. You got 10 grand. You need 20. I'm going to do it no matter what.
That's what happened.
Right. That's what happens. Yeah. But you know what? Life never lets you down if you take risks. Yeah. Life never lets you down. If That's you true. Don't take a risk, how many filmmakers have you met that say, oh, you know what? Once I raise all the money, I'm going to start. Well, that doesn't always happen. No. Sometimes raising some of the money excites other money. Yeah. Sometimes you getting started excites other money. Yeah. Sometimes
getting talent
excites other money. But if you just sit there and are waiting for all of it to be collected first, there's no moving train there. There's no reason to jump on. By the way, investors love a moving train. Yeah. They feel like they're going to miss the boat. They feel like they're not going to get on this one. You're going to make it, and you offered it to me, and I'm not going to be part of it, and you're going to go make it, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm in. Yeah. So there's a ticking time clock on good investors. Good investors are people that are going to give you money because they don't want to miss out on the opportunity that is the opportunity you're offering. Yeah. I think that happened a lot to you, right? You were telling people about how you were moving, and they were like, "Oh, I'm in. I'll do it with you."
Yeah. I mean, the money wasn't that, it wasn't a lot of money, so it was like, hey, how much? Okay, I'm jumping. And then it got to the point where I don't want to say I didn't need it, but I didn't want to keep. Like, I knew what I had, and I knew what was going to happen with it. I knew I started seeing the dailies, and I knew what it was going to turn into. Yeah. So I didn't need more people to give me more money at that point. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, I knew I already had it. Like, I knew it was just a matter of time before it all came together. Yeah. But now, going forward with trying to raise money for a second project, I could revisit those people and say, hey, I'm starting this new project. And they're going to tell me, hey, you making it for 20 grand again? And I'm going to say, no, I can't.
Right. Well,
look, 50 mil.
But no, not 50 mil. Because there's also that. Like, my buddy who's been helping me, he read one of my scripts. He really liked it. And he knows people, money people and stuff. And he got a producer on board. And we attached talent right away, a good talent. And they started taking it out to pitch. And they were asking for like $4 or $5 million. And I was like, I don't know, you guys. I know the talent we got is worth it, because we got Joe Mantegna to play the lead as the mob guy, and he's worth it. But I don't think $4.5 million, $5 million is going to be tough, and it was tough. Like, we got it to some investors, and they passed. They liked it, but it was just it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And I'm really I'm a first-time director. I'm not a first-time director, but I've made a movie. It's successful. It's rated really well. I think I need to go like 1.5. And I told my buddy that. I said, let's go for 1.5. We could still get Montaigne. We could still pay him his fee. And we're just not going to make as much money, but $5 million is a lot of money to raise for an independent film.
But let people, you got to try. I think.
So what do you do in that situation, Robert? Do I keep going for that number, or do I because I told him drop it down to like 1.5, 2. Because if I go 2, I'm going to get 1.5.
I think you have to go with your gut. Like if your actor is an older actor and isn't really going to create a sale for you, right? There are actors that are going to create sales for you. Or there are actors that won't create sales for you. So
ironically, he was they took it to one of the platforms, and the platform was like, "Oh, you got him," and we thought we had we thought that was it. That's where that 4.5 came from, because of his, success in TV and stuff. He's a globally recognized face.
I would stick with the number. If your producers are saying 4.5, 5, then they could still go to people, and people can still say, look, if you can do it for 2 or 3,
then we're in. But
if it's 5, we're out.
Right.
I think people can decide that. You don't have to decide that right off the bat. I mean, you look. I want to preface this by saying I think you should do what you have to do to be creative if it's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, the reality is you have to push for more money, because you're going to need that money to give an actor like the quality of what you're talking about time to do his scenes.
Yeah.
Right. I've been on movies that were $1 million that actors wouldn't take because they knew they weren't going to have enough takes.
Yeah.
They'd be like, look, I want to do this part, but I need like 5 or 6 takes each time.
Yeah.
And we had to say, well, you're not going to get that. You're going to get 2 takes maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work, because I need to know I can work with this character and mess around with the days, and we're like, we can't do that. So we lost actors because of that. So maybe you stick with the amount, but say we're flexible with the budget.
Yeah.
We're flexible with it. If you love it, if someone loves it, then I'm open to talking about lowering the budget.
Yeah.
But right now we're just trying to get better actors to surround Montaigne.
Yeah.
And we're trying to allow for more time per day for these scenes to play out.
Right.
And
the way I wrote it in a way to be shot, like it's minimal. Look, I wrote it as an indie. I wrote it to be for me to make it, like for, $500,000, a couple $100,000. It pretty much takes place in a hotel.
Yeah.
A casino. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's where because in my mind I look at that number and I'm like, fuck. When I wrote this thing, I was thinking like $500,000.
So let's talk about extreme music. One thing that I didn't realize is, I spend a lot of time on extreme music, finding my music for my movies and for different scenes. This time on Stepping Into the Holidays, I could not find this one song. And it was sort of a dance thing. It did have to do with our choreographer. So I called Spencer Liff and I was like, look, I can't find the song for this scene. I feel like you might be able to. So here is the login to Extreme Music. Go check out, use whatever key phrases you want that you think might get you to the music that you like. He did it for half an hour. He found the song that was perfect for the scene. And I was like, that's amazing. But he did it. He had never heard of extreme music, but he went on the site. He put, just like Google, you punch in the type of music you want. It gives you a big list. You start to listen to each one of those, and he picked one. It was terrific. But I think extreme music continues to evolve. When you produce movies for an investor or for a network or for a studio, you can't start putting music in until all of your scenes are locked, right? Because otherwise your composer has to keep rewriting everything. So everything before then is temp. A lot of times I'll put in all of this extreme music into the movie as temp, and we'll end up keeping it because it's so good.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of curated, right? You're a producer, you're listening, you're picking it, you're giving it to your editor. The editor puts it in, and you're like, hey, this is perfect. Then you give it to your investor or the network.
Yeah.
The network says this is amazing.
Yeah.
So you end up keeping it.
Yeah.
And the other great thing is that Russ and Extreme Music have figured out how to make it affordable.
Yeah.
So you don't do this and end up paying like $100,000.
Yeah.
you pay a good chunk, but you were able to do it with Made in Mexico. I was able to do it with every movie I've ever made. In the past 5 years, it's been nothing but extreme music. I did an entire movie with nothing but extreme music. I didn't even use a composer.
Really?
Yeah, that's how great it is. So,
Don't they have a feature where you can kind of compose? You could pull stuff out.
yeah,
and
and I've done that before, where you actually pick a song, and if there's like too much guitar or too much sax,
so you could do it all yourself then.
yeah, I mean, some of the songs have that feature, some of them don't. But if you find like an orchestrated song, and you decide that you don't want that much strings, or you don't want that much horns, you can remove them and listen to the song without it. And then if you like it, you download it, and it'll create the song without that stuff on it.
Yeah,
which is pretty amazing. But we'll talk a lot more about extreme music. We'll get Russ Emanuel in here.
Back in, yeah.
And we'll talk to him, but we're excited to have them back on board. Obviously, they believe in what we're doing, and we believe in them. So let's continue to support extrememusic.com because they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're probably the best there's ever been.
They're
good.
They're really good. Alarcon used it, when he did all the temp music, same thing. He did a lot of the temp music, which we kept.
You kept, so it ended up becoming your actual score.
Yeah, for the most part.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about it too is that when you download a song and you put it into your system, you can edit that song to fit your scene. Right. So that's exciting. Yeah. That's the best part about it, because if you couldn't do that, then you couldn't do it.
Right.
If you weren't able to edit the song, then you couldn't put it in. But there's been super hits, and we'll talk about that with Russ in the future. By the way, Russ recently played for the Queen at Buckingham Palace.
Extreme music.
I'm guessing he played bass or something. I don't know. Like he's a big time musician. I got to hear more about that.
I don't know if we can get him at this point playing for the Queen and shit.
That's some serious stuff, Buckingham Palace. All right, Russ. Well, we'll have to hear all about that soon. Next week we've got Tommy Harper on the show.
Yeah.
Who executive produced
Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Which is at over $1 billion made.
So is that the biggest movie so far? Did it beat Titanic? Because Titanic.
No.
Avatar.
Titanic, I think, and Avatar still continue to be like the top. No. This is the biggest film of the year.
For hands down.
Yeah, of the year. But I don't think. I don't think.
I think Avatar's on top.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
How many billions?
I don't know
about billions, but probably 1 point like something. We'll figure it out.
Well, no, how many avatars are there now?
Let me get back to you.
There's one, but there's one coming out this year.
They have like
in
6
December.
in the slate. Yeah. There's a lot.
What?
Yeah,
they're
shooting like the third or fourth.
Dude,
already.
There's so much to talk about in the show this season. Checking the gate. No, that's not a thing anymore.
What do you mean it's not a thing?
They don't use film anymore.
They don't check the gate anymore.
They don't check the gate?
No.
Did I tell you I worked in Mexico one time, and we were still using film, and in the U.S. checking the gate was everything, right? You gotta check the gate. What are you gonna check the gate for? There's hair in the gate. You gotta reshoot the thing. Right? There's dust or something. So I'm in Mexico, and I realized like halfway through the first week, that no one had ever checked the gate, and I went to the DP, Mexican DP, and I was like, "Hey, man. Like, aren't you going to check the gate?" He's like, "No, if I check the gate, something will get in there."
Stupid.
I'm not kidding. He said that. I was like, I guess you're right. Like, different strokes for different folks. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited about this season. We're going to have a lot of great guests. We're going to talk about a lot of pitching and getting your film made. I want to talk more about using a lawyer. I want to talk more about LLCs. We got Walter Batt back on. There's lots of things to talk about. We'll get Antoine Fisher, which I'm doing a project with right now.
Caroline Kepnes?
Caroline Kepnes, yeah.
I wasn't here for the last one. I had to work.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's get her back on. It's going to be a great season, but I just want to say, if you're out there and you're thinking about, you got stopped by COVID and you didn't keep your film dream alive, no time like the present. Go out, let's give some money raised. Let's get in the bank and let's get something shot. Lots of platforms buying stuff. Lots of ways to show your movie. So don't get stopped. Let's get it done this year. You can count on us. We're going to be here every week talking to you about it. If you have questions, send them over to the Instagram.
The Instagram.
What's it called? Instagram? Is it Facebook?
Facebook.
No, it's called the Facegram. Facebook. No, but definitely send them over. We'll answer them. But I think the key is this year, let's get it done.
Robert, you want to raise money for an independent movie?
Oh, dude, I'm happy to raise money for.
Nice.
Come on, you're trapped in the studio system.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We're going to talk more about this next time. And on the next show, we're going to be meeting up with Tommy Harper, the executive producer of Top Gun Maverick, which has hit over $1 billion. And looking forward to a great year.
That's what's up.
All right.